This is Jerry Mason, the Kickin Lawyer, and I'm inviting everyone to join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on the Kickin Lawyer fan page on Facebook for Law Talk Live, where we discuss business, politics, current events, and the law. If you miss the live version, you can watch the playback on YouTube or listen on your favorite podcast platform. All right, it's Jerry Mason, the Kickin Lawyer. We're live for another Law Talk. I always appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to listen to us and see our pretty faces. Don't forget, as always, to like, follow, subscribe to the podcast. We're available on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Facebook, and, of course, TikTok. Got a good following on TikTok. You can maybe get some legal direction and also watch Josh do cool dances.
All the dances.
Lots of fun dances on TikTok. And then if you want to dance, just download N.A. the Band's new album, Inside My Head. It's available for free on Spotify and iTunes. They're local guys. We want to support them. And again, it's completely free. Really helps them, so check that out. And we want to thank Michelle Allen. She's a longtime sponsor of the show. She's your go-to realtor in the area with Cry Like Realty. And she'll help you. She's also a genuinely good person. You come to the cellar, sometimes you see her. She likes to hang out there. And Mason's High Octane Martial Arts has been my first business. It's been in Covington for 30 years. Just visit masonsmartialarts.com. We'll teach you how to kick people in the face and stuff. It's a lot of fun. Mason's High Octane Martial Arts. The Cellar Restaurant and Prohibition Bar is located off the square in Covington. We're open at 4 p.m. every day, brunch on Saturdays, Sundays, and we're opening our second location in Somerville in August. Hopefully you'll come check us out. Lots of cool things going on there. Masonite Digital Marketing. Josh has now got a drone.
That's
right.
So
you just hire Josh, and he will take drone pictures of you doing whatever. Just visit masonitemarketing.com, and he'll help you with your online branding and videography. And last but not least, don't forget the Covington Comic-Con returns to Covington, Tennessee, August 12th and 13th. You can come and cosplay, see our guests today, as well as a lot of other cool vendors. There's cars, Batmobiles, all kinds of cool stuff's going to be there. So hopefully you guys will join us at the Covington Comic-Con. So speaking of that, my guests today are Bill Webb. Is this right? Did I remember right?
Right.
And then Tanya
Sure.
Vandersteeg. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Jerry?
Good to see y'all.
Josh, I didn't know you got a drone.
yeah, it's
He
fancy.
just got
It's
it.
right here.
Yeah,
I want to
look.
go play. Let's go play.
Yeah, maybe after.
Can we just spy on
he
people?
said that the birds tried to attack it,
They
though.
did. Yesterday I was filming a commercial, and I think I disturbed a bird nest or something.
Oh, yeah, that's not
But,
good.
yeah, anyway.
So you guys today, although you're with lots of stuff, are with
Right.
historical haunts.
Correct.
So why don't y'all tell us a little bit about what that entails, what it is, where to go, and all that stuff.
Cool. Yeah, as you know, we run a haunted tour company in Memphis, so just up the road from here in Covington. It's called Historical Haunts Memphis. We do a haunted bus tour. We do a walking ghost hunt, which is really fun. We do a haunted pub crawl. The more you drink, the more you see on that one. So we do encourage libations of the adult kind. And then we are debuting a tour that's coming out. We'll maybe kind of hit on during this interview because Bill has something to do with that one as well. And then, as you well know, on Saturdays, we also do that beer tour, which is the Memphis Brew Bus. So the brewery tour. Hopefully you'll be coming on soon.
Yes, I heard Budget Batman might even show up on it.
Budget Batman needs to come because
Bill may not know who Budget
is
Batman
Budget
is.
Batman?
That's a great question. So people wonder. There's wondering minds.
If you'll direct your attention to the Covington
See,
Comic-Con lower third.
Yeah, you'll see him there and on the logo.
He looks
See, look,
awfully
he
like
pops up.
Jerry, but he's not.
It's
He's not,
nobody,
but he does look
Nobody
like
knows who Budget Batman is. It's a secret.
kind of a similar look, but not.
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw in my office, I don't like Batman. I'm a Superman guy.
I see that.
I'm a Superman guy. So I ended up, a few years ago, last year actually, I got guilted into, it's a long story, but essentially these people in this organization wanted me to dress up to sort of surprise their CEO, who was a Batman animator and a comic book artist. And he always says he's Batman on his name tag. They wanted Batman to show up and be like, "You're not Batman, I'm Batman." Well, I think they wanted it to be serious, but they clearly didn't know me that well. So I ordered the Adam West outfit, and it looks it just looks silly. And so I saw it, and I was like, "It looks like Batman on a budget." And I was like, "Budget Batman." And so then we decided to use it as a promotional tool for the Covington Comic-Con. So we even went to the San Diego Comic-Con and Budget Batman was there, and he was really harassing all the cosplayers, and those people are serious about their cosplay.
It's the top of the line.
Yeah, Josh put some videos together, and they're pretty funny. There was like some protesters. They were like those. What is that church that's always protesting?
Westboro.
Yeah,
Were
it was
they
like
out there?
yeah, they were out there, and man, it was
They're like, you're going to hell because you like comic
it
books?
was a guy with his daughter. She was dressed like Harley Quinn, and he was dressed like some DC character, and they're like, oh, you're going to hell because you're bringing your daughter. So Budget Batman goes out there and is like, F you guys, and I'm doing the splits in front of them, and they're all like, look at this guy, and then people are like cheering for Budget Batman. And then I enjoyed because I just don't care.
Right.
So the cosplay people are super serious, and I respect it. There's a lot of work, right? But my character is just sort of, I'm always the important one. Hey, citizens, I'm over the top. So these people will be doing their serious poses, and then Budget Batman would just jump in there. And I had like titty sweat stains all right here from sweating so bad.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
So Budget Batman's from Covington.
Correct.
With a southern accent.
Yes. Yes.
See,
That's
Can't
it.
get more budget than that.
No. And he looks very budget in there. And he's gained about 15 pounds since last year, so he looks really budget
All
now.
muscle.
It's like sausage.
yeah. Don't change the outfit then. Let it get tight.
Well, I told Josh, I did it. We were at our family 4th of July celebration, and I told Josh I had brought the costume because we've been meaning to make appearances to promote the Comic-Con, right? And I just thought it was silly, Budget Batman doing fireworks. Man, I put that thing on and I took it off because I said
It was so hot.
I started dieting immediately. So anyway.
You're like, I do not look so good right now.
Yeah. Well, I am interested in your beer crawl thing you do.
So I love how every time we do this, you get them mixed up, and
I'm sorry. Well, I thought that the historical haunts was part of that.
I
It's
just
not the
love
same
how we
groups
have a
doing it?
pub crawl and we have a beer tour. So we don't have a beer crawl, although we can have one just for you.
I got you.
And
I
you
got
have
you.
the ghost tours, which is
I
also
got you.
Which
separate.
is right. Which is
Yeah.
all. Yeah. I mean,
Well, the ghost tour thing I want to talk also because
Right.
when I talked with Steven, we were trying to organize something here
right.
with you guys.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about
Yeah,
it.
so that because we've got you haven't seen the restaurant, have you?
No.
It's actually pretty cool. Like I
Up
know
on Court Square?
Yeah, well, it's just under it actually. It's like
Okay.
it's the cellar because it's kind of in a cellar. But anyway, it looks like a prohibition bar. It's like a speakeasy. So
Okay.
we have people on
really
Friday,
cool.
Saturdays. Everybody dresses like it. We even have a secret room behind a bookcase. All this stuff. And so we do bourbon tastings. We even talked to Clark at the Crosstown Brewery,
Brewery, yeah.
and he's going to help us with some flights for the beers. And so we thought about doing like they could do a beer flight, a bourbon flight. We got a local chocolatier, this kid in Atoka that actually trained with some master chocolate person.
I heard that. That's so cool.
And
We got
he's
like
going to
a little
make
mini
custom.
Willy
And we
Wonka.
wanted somebody
Willy
to do.
Wonka.
We wanted to. I don't know if it's Willy Wonka, but we wanted a tour around the square because there's a lot of haunted history right here too. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something we've talked about for a long time, but now it's
Yeah.
just kind of coming together.
Yeah. We need to all just get together at the restaurant one night and hash it all
Done.
out.
Yeah, actually,
Done.
on my way over here, I stopped off at a store, something special.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl who owns that, her family, I've known them
Mm-hmm.
forever, and told her what I was up here in Covington doing. And she goes, "Oh, we're haunted."
But what's
course
not
you are.
haunted on the square, really?
Is that the
out
one
here?
that's over by the bank right up here?
It's
It's in a big building. It's like 2 stories.
it's actually a 3-story building.
Yeah,
and-
that's the one I'm talking about. That one is supposed to be haunted. There's supposed to be a dude in there.
No, this has a woman in it. It's a 3. It's on the corner.
I thought it was a dude.
It's
I know where you're talking
it's on
about.
the
Today,
corner.
you never know, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just
Are you
True.
assuming the ghost gender?
can't
Jerry?
assume.
Yeah, I don't know. She said that she hadn't seen it in a while, but
My
anyway,
aunt worked there and said she saw I thought she said it was a dude. Maybe it was a woman.
it could have been. I mean, who's to say?
Well, you know, supposedly we have one here.
That's what.
You
Yeah,
guys
we
had
were
come and
talking
checked
about
on
it.
it before, and
Yeah.
my wife is supposedly in tune with some of that stuff. She's big into it. She would love to do your haunted tours, all
So
that.
I was
She's
going to
big
say,
into all
I was
that.
Love to have
actually,
her on there.
I was actually thinking about this, Jerry. As long as I've known you and you've known that we've run haunted tours, you guys have never been on one of our tours, especially your wife, because she's like, this is her thing,
Yeah, let me tell you why. So like this morning,
because it's in Memphis.
I got up at 5 a.m. and I drove to Franklin, Tennessee for an appearance on a case where somebody hired me in Williamson County near Nashville
Yeah,
for a
that's
DUI. Yeah, it's far. Then after that, I drove right back, had a meeting. I thought I was going to be able to sneak away and go to the gym, and unfortunately I wasn't able to. I had to meet with the other partner from the cellar. Then they call me and say, hey, you got to hurry up and get up here. Brian's still stuck in court. You got to come handle an appointment. So that's what I was doing before y'all got here. So I planned to be free for when you were here. So I do that. Then I got this. After this, immediately I have trivia at the restaurant. That's on Tuesday. My Monday, I have a taekwondo thing I have to do. My point is, I'm not making excuses.
We don't have tours on Monday or Tuesday,
but we're
though.
stuck every day. Sunday.
We don't
I
have
was
tours on
working
Sunday.
all day
Well, sometimes we
Sunday.
do.
Yeah. So, but what I need to do, I can make it happen.
Okay, we're
But
gonna
I
make
got
this
to
happen.
plan it.
Okay, let's plan it.
You got to tell
Hey,
me a
planner
good time to
Josh.
come and plan it, and we will come.
Okay.
Just stay at the hotel across the street,
Which is the hotel?
the Central Station Hotel.
It's a Hilton property.
Is that the across from the bus? Not the bus, the train.
It
It
is.
is
the
I know
train
exactly
station.
where that's at. Yeah, we took the train down to New Orleans a couple months ago, 4 months
I
ago.
wanna do
yeah,
that.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I
I
wanna
liked
do
it a
that.
lot.
It's gotten a lot better. It used to be like a mobile insane asylum.
Well, yeah, I was nervous about. It's very nice, that hotel.
Yeah.
But I was nervous about leaving my car. But everything seemed fine when
Yeah,
we came
it's fine.
back. And we, matter of fact, while I was in New Orleans, I was doing a DUI conference, and while I was in the conference, my wife did one of their ghost tours.
Yeah, fun. They've got tons out
Yeah,
there.
so we got to come do yours.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, you're
Well,
always
tell me
welcome.
more about the ghost tours then.
So, and also, you know, Bill is actually our newest tour guide that we hired on. He kind of came as a recommendation from another tour guide of ours and just kind of fell into our lap, which was amazing because he knows everything about Memphis. So it kind of worked out really well. I think that as much as we were interviewing you, you were interviewing us as well.
I was.
Because he's a huge historian, knows a lot about Memphis. And the thing
You
that
need
we
to
love.
meet David Gwynn. Go ahead. That's the local guy you need to talk to.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing that we love about Bill is that he's just super passionate about Memphis. And that's kind of what we on our tours, especially recently, you know, Memphis is getting a bad rep for all the crime. I mean, it is what it is, but it's affecting tourism a little bit. And so kind of getting these people, but we're selling out on our tours, which are great. And so when people are coming on our tours, he specializes right now on the bus tour. He started to do the walking ghost tour with us as well. And, it's just like we don't bash Memphis. You know, we get on there and we say we love our city. We take pride in our city. We've got the coolest history. And this is what makes it haunted. This is what we believe. And then we do ghost hunts. And he's got all of that, all the above. So he's also an investigator. So we're lucky to have you, Bill.
Thank you. I love doing
Yeah.
it. They're good folks. When I and I was thinking about that, how I ended up there is like Shannon. I'll just use her name. Shannon was a guide, not a guide. She's still around. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
One of our original tour guides
So she-
knows him. Yeah.
She posted on Facebook several months ago, "Hey, I'm back doing ghost tours." And I texted her and I said, "You know, I really should be doing that as well." And she said, "You're right, because I'm using some of your stories on my tour." And I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
Well, if anyone's going to cash in off my stories,
Yeah. It needs to be
it's
you.
going to be me."
Yeah, yeah.
So I went and talked to
Yeah.
you, Tanya, and and some other
Somebody
people,
tell me,
and so they arranged for me to go on a tour, and I automatically fell in love with it because they actually are super respectful of the city. They're not over the top. It's kind of there is fun, but it was it was respectful, and Memphis desperately needs some respect.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really taken back with that. So it was not difficult for me to buy in, if you will.
Sure.
And plus the places that we go on the stops are places as an investigator that I've been going to I've never not gone there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great tour. Your wife, everyone should go see. I had people from Memphis on the tour last week who learned stuff. So
And that's the thing that I love is that when we get Memphis natives, they're like,
Yeah.
we did not know this.
Yeah.
And even more so on our new tour that's coming up, they're going to be shocked on some of the stuff that we've uncovered.
What are so I'm just thinking because of my wife and I, how we view these things. So I would go to those type of things more for the spectacle personally.
Yeah.
She goes because she believes it.
Right.
And I'm not saying I don't, because I've experienced things here that I don't know that I have an explanation for. And prior to that, I was definitely a skeptic on all of it. But my point is, to me, it's more skeptic. And then I'm sure you probably get some people that go just for the history of it.
Yeah.
Would that be kind of your demographic who looks at it?
100%. And usually when I'm on the bus tour, like when I'm leading it, I don't lead them much anymore. I'm the tour manager, and I helped found the company way back yonder, way back when. And I wrote all the tours and that kind of thing. So I usually give them all the tours. But when I am on them, that's one of the things I ask them, like, okay, how many of you guys are here for the ghost stories? How many of you guys are here for the history? And then I'm like, how many of you guys are actually here because the person next to you made you be here? And there's always one or two people that raise their hand. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you're the one I'm after. But it's mixed. I don't know. It's usually history, and it's usually half history, half ghost stories, and then they all come out. I just read him a 5-star review that he got the other day off of Viator, that from a complete skeptic that now wrote this awesome review saying, I believe, because of the activity that happened on one of our tours. So you just never know what you're going to get on one of our tours.
Yeah, she was a history teacher from Texas who didn't have a difficult time making eye contact. So I was like,
She didn't have a difficult time?
No, she stayed on me.
Oh, okay.
She was like,
She was on me, and I was like,
Well, 'cause-
she was really, really cool. And so we were at this site, and it's a place that I've investigated. It was actually the first place I investigated back in 1987.
yeah, it's a Mallory Neely house.
Mallory Neely house.
One of the Victorian mansions.
Mansions, yeah. And so we were there, and we were on the front porch, had permission to be on the front porch. I always have to. I have permission to be up here. I'm just not walking up.
Right.
And had permission, and nothing was going on. And I can't explain to you how big of an idiot I feel like when I'm sitting there talking to an empty door and nothing's going on, and people are like, "Oh, this guy's he really believes." I do believe what I'm doing. So I was thanking Miss Daisy, the spirit who inhabits the place, for I apologize for showing up unannounced. You just don't show up to a Southern woman's house unannounced. Not cool. We still do it.
Yeah.
So I was thanking her for letting us come up, telling her to the front yard if she hadn't seen it lately, because I knew she loved her home. She absolutely adored her home. And I was telling her how beautiful everything looked, and I apologized that I showed up unannounced. And even though I had no activity, we turned around to leave, and I had my EMF meters, and we heard at the front door. I got chills, cold, and my meters went over to the red. And that's never happened. And the guest just like, oh my goodness, like she really freaked. I did too. Actually, I was terrified. But
That's a crazy story. He texted immediately after, and he's like, oh my gosh, Miss Daisy knocked from the inside. And a little bit of a background on the Mallory Neely. It's a living, breathing museum that's owned by the Pink Palace, the Mosh. It's owned by Mosh. And one of our previous tour guides used to be the executive director. They don't have one anymore, as far as I know, unless they've recently got one. But there's an office in there that if there was an executive director, they leave at 5 or 6. Nobody lives in the house. There's no housekeeper. Nobody stays in that house after night. We've been in there investigative after night, and so there's nobody in this building. It's a 3-story mansion. There's nobody in there like, we're going to knock on the other side of the door. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
Which makes it, but Miss Daisy's come out a lot and made her presence known. Happy that we were just there kind of visiting her, but she's never knocked on the door for me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There is a little bit of history, and I tell people this because I do have the benefit of having been born in Memphis. And so it's not like I'm in another city investigating or giving tours of it. Like, I know the city really, really well. And the other piece to that is the places where we go. And I tell people is like, I've gone to these places my entire life. So if they are haunted, the spirits, the ghosts, literally watched me grow up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's kind of neat.
And so the Mallory Neely house, Miss Daisy was friends with my great-grandmother and these women who were either in the Daughters of the American Revolution or trying to get into it. And another big landowner, you may know her, was Ellen Davies Rogers. She owned the plantation.
Davies Plantation.
So they were all associated with education and society and all this other stuff. So this woman could have very well known me because I'm 57. I was born in 65. She died in 68. She could have been very well aware of me being born or around back then. So, but that's just part of it. It's cool. So again, I'm trying to sell the tour because it's an incredible experience sometimes, and then sometimes it isn't.
That's true.
We don't really control what goes on out in the sites.
Yeah, well, it's like going to a zoo. You don't know what the animals are going to do sometimes.
Well, or it's like they're not circus performers. Like,
Yeah.
however you believe the spirit world, however we say they're just differently living. Like, they're not going to perform for us. They're either going to say hi or they're not.
Yeah.
And it's kind of rude to assume that they're going to, be there just for our whim. Now, I think I'd be messing with people like crazy, but it's kind of rude just to go up to somebody's house
Right.
and just expect them to communicate with you. But hopefully they know us well enough that. But I'd love to have you guys. We'll work it out. We'll make
Yeah,
this-
you just have to stay on me and we'll do it.
I'll make it happen.
I am curious though, and I can't remember if I've asked you this before, because as I discuss it with my wife, I think it's interesting people's perspective, and y'all are clearly knowledgeable on it. But when you talk about spirits, ghosts, whatever, and I know you guys probably have like categories where you got like, well, like for instance here we've had, I guess, poltergeist stuff where the stuff moves. I don't know. Is that poltergeist? Is that right?
Not really, but
No.
I see what you're saying.
It's where just stuff would
it's more
fly
of
off
an
the wall.
interactive spirit. I know where you're
This
going with all
door
this. Yeah.
will open.
Right.
We've been on this podcast several times, me, Josh, and then a guest, and this door would literally open against the spring, stop, and then we would even look to see who was coming in, and Josh is going, there ain't nobody there, and then it just
Josh
closes.
has full view.
and we've had other stuff like my wife and I had heard footsteps one night. Anyway, my point is like there's that, and then then there's like the battlefield things where people kind of see looks like a reenactment
Like the
of something.
residuals, yeah.
Yeah. So are there levels to that, or like what do y'all think it is? Is it all the same thing? Do you think there's different stuff like?
Well, as an investigator, so it's a little different than which he's done both, which is great. We have the Historical Haunts Tour Company. We also have the Historical Haunts Paranormal Group, which is a separate entity altogether. So we are actually seasoned and certified paranormal investigators. I've been investigating for about 20 years. Just because I love old buildings and I've always been interested in the paranormal. It's something that's kind of been there since I was born. I don't know. I've kind of always seen things and heard things and always just been curious, and I love cemeteries. It's kind of weird. Creepy girl. Yeah. But I was always the creepy girl in school, which was always a great title.
That's why we
to
became
have.
best friends.
No, we became best friends because we were the best actors in the class.
Well, that's true,
We
too.
met in Dyersburg Community College Theater Program, the best around.
I don't know about that. But
We just bonded over how bad everybody else was, and we just made fun of everybody. And we still are. It's a great friendship. But no, in the paranormal group, we will come like we've been here before.
Yeah.
So if a client, in fact, we have a new client that's coming up, they call and they're like, hey, our house is haunted. And then we send our paranormal team. We do this for free. So if anybody has a haunted house, we do it for free for cookies. If you have cookies, we like that. But we come in, or a business that calls. This is separate from the tour company. And then that is where we're going to categorize things. So we have 3 or 4 main categories. One of them is the residual. So we believe it's like the battlefield kind of hauntings where we believe there's something in our atmosphere or right here in front of us that can capture or record periods in time. And so that would be the lady at 3 a.m. every morning on a Wednesday that walks through your kitchen. You all call, you throw the toaster at her. She never looks at you. She never responds, but it's like on the battlefield, they're reenacting something. I believe that's a recording in time. It's not a spirit. It's not an entity.
Broken tape that plays over and over.
100%. Yeah, Josh nailed it. It's just a broken tape that plays, or just a residual. It just plays over and over and over, but it's not a spirit. And then you've got the ones that are the spirits, whether you believe that's a part of somebody's soul or consciousness, or however you believe spiritually. They're there, but they don't interact with you. So we call those non-interactive spirits. And then there's the ones that are here. Josh and I experienced crazy interaction in the room behind us where something, slammed something against the wall and shook the whole room due to something I was asking. That's an interactive spirit. So maybe your footsteps that were walking down the hall were just an interactive, a non-interactive. Just that was the route that the guy who owned this place.
When that happened, we thought it was Brian, my partner that was out here earlier, because he wears
Right.
these big thick boots. And it was so real. My wife and I were both sitting there working, and nobody else was in the building. Everything's locked up. And we heard the footsteps. And when it got to the door of my office, we both stopped and looked up because we
Was
both
that
heard
prominent?
the footsteps get closer at the doorway. And it was when my office was the other place you remember.
Yeah.
So then this door that was the conference room door on the other side here slammed shut. So the footsteps stop. We look, nobody's there. The door slams shut on the other side. And we both looked at each other and said, it's time to go.
I think it's time to close up.
Yeah.
Well, and then that would be an interactive spirit. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not always going to get interactions, but, say the lady at, 3 a.m. in the morning, you throw a toaster at her and she actually turns around and says, don't do that. That's an interactive. And then your poltergeist activity, that's a whole nother subject.
Is that the scare? So none of that scares you that you described so far?
No.
It's not frightening to you?
No, I mean, I always tell people all the time in paranormal investigating that you're going to find what you're looking for. And so if you're in it, if you're a Zach Bagans fan, which not going to bash you if you are, but he's the paranormal investigator that's kind of become, uber popular past ghost hunters and made interrogating and what is the word? Just don't yell at spirits. Like, don't go into somebody's house and say, slap me, hit me. And he's the one that we don't provoke. We do not provoke spirits at all. If you provoke a spirit, you're going to get what you're looking for. If you go into a house looking for evil entities or something of that sort, you're probably going to find what you're looking for.
And it's always going to be on their terms, not yours.
Well, and that's the truth. It's like, it's silly because we had a case a long time ago where there was a pretty negative spirit that was in the house, and we come to find out one of the boys that was living there, he was 18 years old, I might add, so he's an adult, was trying to sell his soul to the devil for Goku points.
And it's a low price, isn't it?
It was a very low price, and so he had conjured some lower vibrating, I'm going to say demon because that's not the case, just some lower vibrating negative kind of, we call them cockroaches of the spirit world, that was messing with people in the house and causing a lot of damage. If you're going through a really bad time in your house, there's a death in your family, divorce that happens, or something that brings your vibration lower, you're gonna, you tend to find those kind of, spirits that latch onto that kind of negative energy. So if you go look for negative spirits, you're gonna find them. But we don't. That's not something that we do. It's very dangerous. It can affect your health. It could affect your house. It could follow you home. But on our tours, don't worry, we don't do any of that. Everything is with permission and higher vibrating, but here there's nothing negative. But don't go looking for all that stuff. That there is some scary stuff out there. I
don't really think that here what we dealt with is necessarily negative.
No,
I'm here
I've never
all the
felt
time alone.
Yeah.
And the time that this was happening is when we were doing some renovations. We were adding a
always
wall.
stirs it up.
Yeah, and I think things. If there was anything here, it was getting pissed off at us for just
Why are you
moving
knocking
stuff
down
around.
my walls? Why are you doing that? Yeah, this is my building. Yeah, maybe
So
making.
I don't feel threatened. But I guess I'm just curious about all of that because none of us really know. So I'm always curious what other people's thought process and belief systems are on how that works.
Well, there's more questions when you get further into it than there are answers. I mean, we've done seminars all over. We've, every Comic-Con in town, we've done paranormal seminars. We've traveled to different states doing kind of.
And they'll be at Covington Comic-Con.
Yes, we will. Covington Comic-Con. That's gonna be fun. I'm actually looking forward to that. What's the third annual Covington Comic-Con.
Yeah, and it would be bigger than the last. Well, this one will be bigger. We'll have more vendors, but Covington just doesn't have an event center large enough. We don't have a convention center.
And one of the places we were going to use got hit by tornadoes. So.
Yeah, we were going to put it in one of the school gyms just so we had enough room.
That was a good idea.
The place we were going to do got hit by the tornado and was destroyed. So, but we've talked to some local investors in Blue Oval City about maybe working on a actual convention center for the area. Because if you think about it, you got Memphis, you got Jackson. There's really nothing in between for people to do concerts, plays, events, stuff like that.
It's actually a really good idea, especially with Blue Oval City coming in.
Yeah, with Blue Oval coming in, man.
You could do the Blue Oval Event Center. They could.
Are you listening, Ford?
Yeah. I'm in talks with the folks about it. We're working on it. They're throwing money left and right everywhere. Might as well. That's something that would benefit everybody. It'd bring more people here, even out of town, for tourism and see the Blue Oval logo because. Anyway,
it's kind of smacked on everything.
It would be good.
No, the questions that you ask about the paranormal world are questions that everybody has. Like, we don't know. We don't really know. We've got a lot more questions.
But you think that they're the ones that I guess are interactive or are, for lack of a better term, conscious? Like,
yeah, I think
so. Do you think, have you seen that movie where, and not to run the movie if anybody hasn't seen it, I don't remember the name anyway, but in the movie you're following this family, I think it's a family, and they're seeing stuff, and then towards the end you find out they were the ghosts.
Oh, the others.
The others.
Is that was the others?
The others
Yeah.
with Nicole Kidman.
I always
Yeah.
wonder if it's
one of
kind
my
of like that.
favorite movies.
That's
Sorry,
actually one of the few ghost movies I've ever
it's
watched.
so good. We just ruined it for you. It's Jerry's fault.
Sorry,
That's okay.
don't watch it.
It's so that is one of my favorite, and that's I don't know if it's that detailed, but then I don't know. But I do believe that most of the spirits that we communicate with are conscious on some kind of level. They're just differently living. The Elliot Fontaine at the Woodruff Fontaine House, perfect example because we both have a lot of experience with him, and of course historical haunts. We go way back. I mean, we started investigating there in 2012 as their in-house paranormal investigators. Ghost Hunters came there in 2013. I was on the show with Ghost Hunters. We were there during their entire investigation. And Elliot is the one that we got at probably one of our best EVPs, which is an electronic voice phenomenon. For those of you that are listening and watching that don't know what that is we just set out just a simple voice recorder. You can even do it on your phone now. And you sit around and ask questions. You leave room for answers. You play it back and see if there's somebody that's not here has answered. And we were talking about the spirits as ghosts, and I was referring to them as ghosts. And when we played it back, you hear Elliot say, "I'm still alive." He goes, "I'm still alive." He also, we would hang his obituary because we used to be on the board, and Stephen was on the board there. And like I said, in-house paranormal investigators, we were there all the time. Kind of sometimes we'd redecorate and hang his obituary on the wall. He would throw that thing off. He'd throw it down the stairs. It would shatter because he's not dead. He would make it very, very clear that he is still alive and he is still there, just differently living. And he's like the most prominent spirit I've ever had in my entire life. Like, make it very, very clear.
Yeah, he's been. I hate to say this, and of course I'm probably about to jinx myself, but it's like on all the tours, I haven't been getting I haven't been getting much activity at the Mallory Neely house. So then when we go down to the Fontaine house,
Yeah.
automatically. And actually, there was another friend of mine who used to work at the Fontaine house, Carol, and she wanted me to tell Elliot hello. She just won't go on a tour yet. And so I was like, "Hey, Elliot, blah, blah, blah. Carol, from Christmas time, we need to tell you hello." And the meter's just like, the lights just pop over to the right. And so, yeah, he's been pretty active. And then I've also had, there's the little boy in the fountain.
Oh,
Claude
yeah.
Q.
Yeah, we have a little boy that in Court Square. And don't tell anybody the story. You've got to go on the tour to hear the story.
Yeah, I've been able to make contact with him. And I don't know if I told you what I started doing on that tour, but
Something illegal, I hope?
no, it's all legal. Everything's
Oh, wait,
legal.
we have a
So
lawyer.
I'll tell you.
He'll get us out of it.
I'll
Not,
tell you
not
what
if
I
you're
did.
admitting on
is-
the air.
We don't
that-
do anything illegal-ish.
No. But I was standing there one day. This was actually before I was doing any tours, and just out of curiosity, I was just looking around. I was thinking, this place has changed. We just don't see that it's changed. This fountain has changed. Everything about this has changed. Everything about it. So I was getting ready for a tour, and I was trying to think of what has stayed the same since that little boy has died. Something has to have stayed the same since he passed away. You not heard this?
Maybe.
All right, so what I did was I was just sitting at home, and I looked at Robin, my wife, and I said, "You know what? Music hasn't changed. What is the number one song on the day that he passed away?"
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know what the name of the song is?
Negative.
"The Fountain in the Park."
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
The number one song.
The number one song in the United States on the day that boy passed away was "The Fountain in the Park." So I took a Bluetooth.
And he died in the fountain in a park.
And so I took.
Tell me that doesn't freak you out.
I took a Bluetooth speaker out there, turned it on.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I know it's not part of the script.
So how
but-
long? Tell me.
That's so cool.
Tell me how long these tours last.
If I'm doing
and how
them,
to book them.
if I'm doing them, it's about 2 hours because I'm very long-winded. They're not supposed to be 2 hours, so I don't do them anymore.
That's the bus or the walking.
No, yeah. So the bus tour is our flagship tour. It's kind of, we did start doing walking tours way back when, about 2012, 13 or so, starting on Beale Street. But we bought a bus, which was called the Ghost Bus. And sits about 24 passengers. We usually book it out to about 20. We want everybody to be somewhat comfortable on the bus. And it all starts at the broom closet, which, Emily was here a couple weeks ago. So it starts and ends the broom closet. So all of our tours, all of them, start and end at the same location. And about an hour and a half you're going to get. That includes if weather permitting and road closures and all that are open and stuff, then you get off at 3 different locations. And one of them for sure, we do a live paranormal investigation. The others are just subjective to the tour and the tour guide and if there's availability to do. But we try to do as many investigations as possible. Our walking tour is more of a ghost hunting tour, but we still have a lot of fun. And that one's about an hour, 15 hour and a half as well. We always give it, though, if the group is like really into it. We don't, we are on a time frame, but sometimes we stay a little extra if they're really active at one location. We give you your money's worth. Our haunted pub crawl hits 3 local bars. That one lasts a little longer, and that one's kind of based on how long it takes you to order your alcohol and how busy the bars are and how long it takes you to walk to them. But that one's about a 3-hour tour. Well, no, that would be about a 2.5, 3-hour tour.
I was going to say, like Gilligan's Island.
3-hour tour.
Yeah.
And
that one sounds, I like that one, though.
The haunted pub crawl is really fun. We
I guarantee you by the end you'll see something.
No, the more and it happens every time and if you don't know people, because you can rent it out as a private event, you can just bring your group along or the whole office or whatever, or you just kind of like the escape rooms used to be back in the day. You just join strangers and you do stuff together, and you get to be really good friends at the end. That's all of our tours are like that. But the pub crawl is kind of the one where everybody just gets to, because they're drinking, they get to know each other a little better. And we usually typically end at Ernestine and Hazel's on that one. Unless it's closed for a private event, we really try to make it happen. Ernestine and Hazel's is right across from us, and they're buddies of ours, and you're always going to feel something there. It's crazy. And if you go to historicalhauntsmemphis.com, that's where you can find everything. You can scroll through and pick all of them there. You can go there's a Meet Our Guides tab, which we haven't have him on there yet, but you can kind of look through and see what each guide and who they are and where they come from and what they look like. And if you want to book a private tour, that's where you can do that too.
You do them, I assume, in the evening most of the time?
Yeah, so right now we're running Wednesday through Sundays in the evening. Wednesday, Thursday, Sundays are our bus tours. Friday and Saturday. Friday's your pub crawl. Saturday is that beer tour that runs through us as well on Saturday mornings, or actually afternoons around 2 o'clock. But all of the tours start at like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Does it seem there's more activity in the evening or during the day, or does it matter?
It doesn't really
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Well,
I'm sure they're spookier in the evening, but...
Well, and the whole saying is ghost hunters do it in the dark. Why? Why do we do it in the dark? Number one, contamination. So when you're in a location and it's nighttime, you're not going to have as much outdoor noise. So your cars aren't going by as much. The people aren't going by as much. People aren't talking as much. And the dark is just kind of neat. You can maybe see shadow figures a little more. But I've had activity all times, all hours of the day, just like you guys have here.
Yeah, cool. So I would try to probably do it a Saturday during the day. But I couldn't do it this Saturday or next Saturday.
We want you on the beer tour next Saturday, but you can't.
I
If you
can't.
can't.
I'll be out of town.
Globals, aren't you?
I don't leave till
'Cause
Monday.
That week's the same week I'm in Vegas. So.
I might be able to do it that
Josh
Saturday.
is in Vegas.
Yeah, you guys gotta go see that big ball. That's the
That
only
big
reason he wants to
sphere.
go.
Yeah, the big
Josh is
sphere.
in
That
Vegas.
thing's cool.
Yeah.
Josh is going to Vegas.
TikTok, they've been showing all
Without
these
us.
live feeds of it. Yeah, he's gonna do all the nerd stuff. Josh won't do. One thing I went with Josh. Side note, because I know Bill here doesn't know us and is getting to know us, but so Josh, me, my son Austin, who's 23 too, and who else was it?
Andrew.
Your buddy Andrew went to Vegas for Josh's 30th birthday a couple years ago, and I was probably the wildest of them, and we're all relatively reasonable adults, right? But you're in Vegas, and there's a bunch of dudes. So, there's a few things I propose that we do that are common in Vegas to go do
I know
together.
what you're talking about.
And none of them wanted to do that. And I'm like, I raised this boy well. That's terrible. My brother doesn't want to do these things. So we ended up going to what did we go to? It was a car museum.
Piff the Dragon. It's all Piff.
Yeah, we saw a Piff the Dragon
man,
show.
I was so jealous that you got to see Piff.
It was very
I
limited.
love.
It was like a G-rated
that dragon.
Vegas trip. That's what it was.
Well, it's so funny because you say that, and it's interesting because my son, this weekend, he turns 24, and all of his friends would be the same way. There might be one friend that would be like, yeah, I'm going with Jerry to these guy things, but the rest would just be like, no. It's weird. It's kind of a...
Well, when I was younger, I did, of course, I was big into all the extreme, I did MMA fighting and all this stuff. And so I was in Vegas for an event we had. and ended up getting kicked out of a certain facility. Yeah, I mean,
Actually,
there's
from what I remember the Vegas trip, I don't think I was against the stuff so much as if you recall, Austin was about to get married.
Yeah, he's a
and
good
then
boy.
Andrew,
He's a
and
good
then
boy.
Andrew also had his girlfriend, and he didn't want to do any.
I mean, I thought those kind of things. I'm 44, but I always say I'm a grown man now, and so there's just things that they're not fun to me. But I like watching other people that don't
react.
realize, their reaction, that think that this
Yeah.
is going to be something it's not, and I just find that interesting to watch.
I'm the same way. I
interaction.
would sit back and just laugh.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is to me.
I was in Vegas just a year ago, and I'm terrified. Absolutely terrified of heights. Terrified of heights.
So you go stratosphere?
No,
Oh.
I did Slotzilla down Fremont.
Oh yeah.
Did you
I
do
saw
it?
that.
I did it.
We got in line to
Zip
do it,
line.
and the
I
line
wanna
was just
go
too
so
long,
bad.
so
Yeah.
we didn't do it.
Yeah,
Last time I went, the line was really,
I
really
booked the night before, and
Smart.
I knew if I gave them the money,
Yeah,
then
you
I
would
would
do it.
wake up. I would have to do it.
Did you enjoy it?
No.
But Bill, isn't there two of them? Like one of them's like fully down, and one of them you sit.
I rode like this.
Yeah,
That's what I
there's-
want. I want a Superman.
there's
all
this-
the
There
way
was
down.
actually
There's
one,
a Superman one, and then I want to say there is another one that's maybe not as long.
There is. It's not as
this
long.
one ran the whole thing,
Yeah.
and so like I was sitting there, and when you're up there, it's like blocked off, and the arm kind of comes, or the wall kind of comes down, and so I involuntarily closed my eyes because I was like, holy. Like, I can't, like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. I even said that. There's a video of me, like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. And I'm just flying down Fremont. And
Were
then
you screaming like a girl?
Yeah. And then it was cool. Then it was cool. And then by the time it was cool, it was over with. My blood pressure had to have been through the roof. when I
Yeah.
got
My
through.
blood pressure was through the roof when I got spanked by those 30 waitresses at the Heart Attack Grill.
Yeah, that was the only somewhat extreme thing we did. We went to the Heart Attack Grill,
Yeah, that's over there
which is
close
on
to-
Fremont.
yeah.
And what they'll do is, if I don't know, did y'all eat there? No. Okay, so if you're over 400 pounds, you eat for free at that place.
Oh, cool.
And they have you sign a waiver when
Way
you get
to
in.
just promote obesity in
No,
America.
that's their whole thing.
I know,
Like,
I've seen it.
You have to sign a waiver when you go in because all the foods can kill you.
Yeah,
they bring sodas and stuff out in an IV drip so that you're like constant. And the menu's just nuts. Anyway, if you eat all your food, you get rewarded, and the waitress will spank you. And they literally have these things you hold on to, and then they come around and spank you. Well, it was his birthday, so we made sure they knew. So he got beat. They lined him up.
I was the one that requested all the waitresses spank me.
I don't remember that, but
Yeah.
that's fine. But they spanked.
Sure you
They
did,
the
John.
one that got him the worst was like a mother of like 3 children, and
Ooh,
you
she
could
knew how to
tell.
spank.
Yeah,
What she was
she
doing.
knew what to do. She put
She
the
knew you
hips
were
into
naughty.
it. Man, it lit him up. I felt bad for him.
I've still got the scars.
Why are you crying, big baby?
But yeah, that was interesting. Vegas is cool. It's one of my
love
favorite
Vegas.
places to go. I've been
Great
I
city.
love Vegas.
I've been probably 10 or 12 times. My wife goes with me, but doesn't enjoy. She likes outdoor stuff, so she wants to go to like Yosemite, Grand Canyon. So what we did one year as a compromise, this was like our dream vacation thing. We had planned for it. We had the money for it. We were going to do whatever we wanted to do. So we went at New Year's, and the compromise, because I don't like the outside stuff. Like I would glamp maybe, but like why would we have 2,000 years of war for us to have HVAC and not utilize it? So anyway,
You're so bougie.
we rented a helicopter and flew into the Grand
Oh, that's
Canyon
fun.
and had a sunrise breakfast with champagne and stuff in the base of the Grand Canyon. But look, I'm going to go and tell you, it was just a big crack. Like all these people are like, Grand Canyon, so majestic. It's a big butt crack. It's literally all it is. And she was like, this is amazing. It's the roast beef. I was like, it's rocks. It looks exactly like I thought it would look, you know?
It's beautiful.
You go down to the
Stop
Mississippi
it.
riverbank and you can see a crack, Anyway.
You go down you go down Beale Street, you can see a lot of crack.
That's true. That's true. Well, she did that, and then I raced Lamborghinis. That's what I got.
Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat. That would be. I would see the Grand Canyon and race Lambos.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that.
You're so bougie. I swear.
I'm not bougie. That's just the plan for that, and we work a whole lot, and so we went.
He's bougie.
We went and we did
he
it.
also owns a pig, just so you know.
I do. Hey, my pig, I think's getting sick though. So yeah, I'm real worried about. So my animals are like my I have kids, but they're adults, right? So they
Yeah.
don't love me anymore. So my animals are like my kids.
Your kids. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I have a mini pig. She's right there. She's on my logo on that thing. See, that's my mini pig Whiskey.
Not a mini pig at all. That pig fills up a whole.
Yeah, she's about 150 pounds.
Yeah,
but
a
she's
whole
the
wagon.
last week she hasn't really been eating and drinking right, so I'm kind of worried about her.
Take her to the vet.
Yeah, well, my bulldog, who's really my best friend, is got a tumor on an organ. We thought it was on her stomach, but it's actually on, I think, the pancreas. So we took her this morning for surgery. So she was in surgery today. My wife, the doctor called and told the surgeon called and said that she did well in the surgery. So now they have to recover it and they have to test the tumor. But she's 16, and so a lot of people are like, "Why would you spend that money on?" Because she's given me so much love,
I've
you know.
spent-
She was your best
I
friend.
spent
Yeah,
a
so
lot
I
of
mean,
money on my
if
dog.
if I can ease her time and give her a little more time than she has now, and
course.
then that's what we'll do. So anyway.
Don't you had a little puppy of some
Made
sort
perfect
last time?
sense to me.
Yeah, my wife has a French bulldog, and we have a little rat-looking dog called a Roo. That's just like a little messed up looking dog. And then, so we've got 4. They're all in the house. We have all 4 of them in the house.
I saw the little puppy last time that I was here for some reason.
Anyway,
There was like a little French bulldog puppy. It was just big.
yeah, my dogs will sometimes bark. Do y'all think animals are in tune with stuff?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Do you? Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, one time I come around the corner and the Bonnie, my
your
bulldog,
house?
at my house. I don't want to talk about that. That's a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
Because I don't like thinking
freaks
the
him out
stuff
at
is
his
going
house.
on at my house. And we've got a picture that my wife has that someone took at the front of our house.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
And people say you can see a spirit in the front window of the front door
yeah,
there.
there is something in the front window.
And I don't see anything,
Uh-huh.
but people say she says she sees stuff. She says in our house she sees stuff all the time. And it's one of the oldest houses in Tipton County. My house is.
Is it here in Covington?
Mhm. It was built in like 1860, something like that.
Oh, wow.
It's old.
Yeah.
And you can even go in the attic area and see like 4 or 5 different types of carpentry over the years as they repaired and changed things.
Sure.
Cool.
It's pretty interesting.
That's really cool.
But yeah, I don't want to think about that kind of stuff, in my house.
Yeah, it exists in there
Mm-hmm.
whether you want to think about it or not.
Sure. Yeah, I know, but I'm one of those where
Way to go, Bill.
you're talking about you don't call them out, or I don't want to call anything out.
I get it
I don't
because our
wanna-
house has something going on, and I would just as well not know.
Yeah, that's more how
and
I
I do,
am.
and this is my hobby.
Yeah.
Well, they always say don't investigate your own house.
No,
Yeah.
there's
I mean,
no.
my house is almost 100 years old, and I don't.
Yeah, I'm not.
I
Well,
see
the
stuff,
the
but I don't-
bulldog one day I came around the corner and the bulldog was sitting there like this. And he was kind of growling and looking up in the corner of the room, and I was like, I'm not even gonna look up in the corner.
What's even weirder is cats. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have a cat. My dog recently passed, and so my dog doesn't bark at anything, but my cat would just like, and you could see her eyes just following it around, and I'm like, okay.
Well, my oldest son, Alex, who's in the Navy, when he was little, would say he saw angels in the room. He would see things in there and literally same house and literally talk to them and tell us
really
about it
cool.
afterwards. And as he grew up later, he remembered seeing some stuff, but it didn't know if it was a little kid thinking or what. But
I mean, we're so in tune to that as little kids. We're so, our spirits we're vibrating so high as little kids. Hopefully, we have a happy childhood and we're vibrating up on that level where we can see a lot. And then we're not told we're not supposed to see that kind of stuff. We've actually counseled families throughout the years as an investigative group of like, don't discourage your kids from seeing this kind of stuff because it's not scary. It's not evil. It's not wicked. It's not whatever you think it is. And, so that's where we have history of all these little kids saying they saw stuff.
That's when it started for me. Actually, it was up in Ripley, Tennessee. Just
it's 15 minutes this way.
15 minutes. My grandparents moved from Memphis to Ripley back in the 50s, so my grandfather could practice medicine up there.
Okay.
I was asleep one night, woke up, looked above me, and there was something over me.
Wow.
I had never experienced anything like it. I just looked at it and realized it. In my little brain, I was like, "That's a ghost," and I fell back asleep.
Yeah, if I
Thought
saw
nothing
something
of it.
over me, the house would probably be caught on fire. Burn
Don't, not that historic house.
No, it was.
Who are you going to call?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, apparently y'all, I guess.
but that's what
DeSoto
that's what
County
started the whole thing
Ghostbusters.
for me.
Do not.
Yeah,
They will not do anything for you.
Yeah, that's what started
Do
it
not
all.
cross the streams.
interesting. Yeah, well, you know, I think as a little kid, I can remember being real scared a lot about different stuff, but I don't know that I ever saw anything. My wife seems to be in tune with things like that, though. And I think that the thing is, like, I think it's hard for any of us to say with any absolute certainty on anything, you know? So it's ignorant of me to say that it's not that
Right.
way or
Right.
that it is. So I'm open that people could be in tune to things a little different than I would. There's definitely something up because I have been here and experienced stuff personally that I can't explain. And it was very vivid, real. And especially the night both my wife and I experienced the exact same thing. It's not like I imagined it. We didn't imagine it together. It happened. Anyway, so I don't know, but I'm interested in that stuff. And
When's your wife's birthday? Do you know her sign?
yeah, so her birthday, May
Oh no, I just got Jerry in
29th.
trouble.
I
Okay.
think that's right, May 29th.
She's gonna text you right now. She's
Yeah,
gonna be like,
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
hand's gonna come right out of that phone and go smack.
Well, it's because
No.
I confuse our anniversary and our birthday, but I think that's
Well, just because
right.
sometimes certain signs are more sensitive. Certain,
So what is that?
I don't know.
Taurus.
Taurus.
Because I'm Taurus. I'm in May.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a Pisces, and normally, or if she's like a negative blood type, I mean, her being a nurse, she would know that.
Yeah, she's not. So I'm O positive, and she's just not. She's something
Okay.
else. I don't know
Because
what it is.
like usually Pisces are really, really, really. So they say Pisces have superpowers, and or negative blood types are really sensitive.
And so O positives are the smartest, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is
And
that
the
what
best
you are?
looking.
And the best looking.
Oh,
They're the
you're
best
both-
hair.
No, I made all that up. I don't know.
that's
Yeah.
why I hired him. We can just make stuff up.
Yeah, cool.
We say that on our tours. We're like, how many of you guys are from Memphis? And if none of them raise their hands, we're like, good, we can just make it all up. You'll never know.
That's true. That's true.
And let's go.
Yeah.
And we have a new tour that we're working on. We don't know like the name officially for it, but it's going to be like a Secrets of Memphis kind of tour. It's a sightseeing tour. It's going to be a 2-hour tour, probably at 11 on a Saturday morning, right before our brew bus, where we just go all over Memphis into Midtown and back and talk about weird facts of Memphis, things that you'd probably never know. It's mainly a sightseeing like that and that and that, like oldest restaurants, oldest bars, but just stuff that you've never heard of before that you're going to be like, why is this in Memphis? Or we never, one of them is everybody knows about the Ducks of Peabody.
Yeah. You got to show them Prince Mongo.
Oh, we go right by the castle.
okay.
And or Ashlar Hall, and then or like the Silky O'Sullivan's has goats.
Yeah.
But even more details, and we get off at a couple stops, drive over into Elmwood Cemetery, and talk about the UFOs and cryptids and everything. But it's gonna be a really really fun tour. You want to talk about your shortwave radio?
Oh yeah, actually I do. It'll be on. It's not live, but
Does anybody
I do
hear
it.
that?
That's the garage door over
Oh,
there.
darn.
It means Brian's leaving.
Yeah, no, I do it. I do a shortwave radio show.
Okay, cool.
That goes out every Tuesday night on 93, 95 kilohertz, and it's called Memphis Weirdos. And there's a long convoluted story in how I started it, but right when I started it, it was going to be a podcast only, and then I had one microphone, and the pandemic started. I didn't feel like sharing my mic with. I didn't know enough about
how it was going to work.
what anybody. So I got a few interviews in. I ended up putting those out. They were really successful, and but then no one wanted to sit down and talk. I understood that. That was cool. I had a really cool logo. I had a URL, and I was Memphis Weirdos. I've got to use it somehow. And I remembered a guy who did food reviews who had a shortwave radio show. And I was like, what could be weirder than that? Like shortwave radio, really? People still have that. Mm-hmm. And I looked into it, found a station that would take the show. And I've been there for 3 or 4 years ever since. And deal mainly, it's actually taken on a different life now that I've gone back into paranormal investigations and doing ghost tours. And I'll just kind of play some music, give some highlights of the things that I've experienced on some of the tours, talk about how to book the tours with me and all this other stuff. Nice. And had another podcast get in touch with me today because I came out of retirement and they'd heard of some work that I'd done in the past. So I've actually hooking up with these guys has kind of gotten me active in the environment again. And I do photography. I've got a photography show coming up in November at WKNO's TV and radio station. That show is going to run for November. And another photography thing I'm doing, I'll be in what we call Monster Market. which is going to be at the Medicine Factory in October. And there's a bunch of really cool show. Monstermarket.com, I think, is the website. You can go there and it'll give you some information on.
So are you're also into like cryptozoology and stuff like that too?
No.
So what is it? Just the paranormal, or
Yeah, it's just
well, you say monsters, so I don't know if you mean
Monster
like
Market is that's just the brand of this particular.
It's like a market where vendors are going to come out and sell their stuff, and it's all like spooky,
Oh,
Halloween
you have
kind
to
of
be
monster
actually
related.
I got you.
submit, and then you get invited. So
It's really cool.
I got you.
So it's kind of it was pretty, I was very surprised that I got in. And I'm doing black and white photography at a cemetery. And I'll tell you the secret to the photography is the idea for the pictures is I want for someone to look at the picture and feel kind of unnerved when they look at it. And what they'll figure out eventually is there's actually someone in the photograph that they don't recognize at first looking back at them. So, yeah.
It's going to be neat.
I thought you were going to say you wanted them to feel uncomfortable, so you smack them around a little bit. And
No. I don't have that kind of.
Well, so we have a lot of photographers that come to our restaurant, and
Yeah.
they like to shoot because of what it looks like.
Yeah.
And they like, we've had several that have come and like it as a location. So
Yeah.
you're always welcome to look at it.
Man, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know
up here recently. Went to Buckaroo's up there. At the
Yeah, that's a
Hat
great
Place.
place too. That's a
Man,
cool place.
That is an awesome place.
So we partnered with him because he started making fedoras that we sold in our restaurant because it's
Yeah.
20s themed. And matter of fact, I have a custom fedora I got from him is what I wear when I'm up there. But he's a cool dude, Mike.
Man, beautiful hats up there.
Yeah. Well, he makes a lot of the movie hats. Have
I
you been
know.
up there?
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, it's right up here on the corner. Buckaroo Hatters. He's one of the last. I guess he's a hatter. I guess that's what you call him.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Definitely on this side, he hand makes hats. And a lot of the movie companies in LA still commission him to make the movies for. He's got pictures of them up there. The
they
movies for
really?
the hats for the movies. Yeah, it's
That would be
it's kind of like
a cool part of our tour if it was in Memphis.
no, it's kind of like, well, if we did one here, it's kind of like a museum, like the stuff that he's got in there.
It's amazing. But I
Yeah.
was up here shooting pictures. Like I said, my relatives who live in Ripley, so I know the area really well. Had a weird experience at a cemetery somewhere between here and 14 Penning. I don't know. We walked out into this graveyard. We heard a growl.
Yeah, see, I don't think that's good.
I don't think
I
that's
told us
good at all.
I was like, hey, we're just here. I literally yelled, it's like, hey, we're just here visiting. That's all we're doing. And everything chilled out. And I thought, you can imagine experiencing these things. Thankfully, somebody else was with me and heard the same thing. Like when you and your
Yeah.
wife heard the footsteps, it's like,
You're not crazy. It happened.
yeah, it's not as crazy, but yeah.
Anytime
Well,
you hear a growl,
West Tennessee
it's
is
usually not
active,
good.
man.
Well, I appreciate y'all coming on, and I'm sure some of the viewers would like to come and check you guys out. You said it was Historical Haunts.
HistoricalHauntsMemphis.com.
HistoricalHauntsMemphis.com.
See, we have room this weekend on some of our tours.
I'm about to sell out Thursday.
He's like, I'm about to sell out.
I mean, not
Sell
me. They
out.
don't know it's me.
Bill will be, if you would like to take Bill's tour, he is doing the haunted bus tour this Thursday. I don't know. I'd have to look at the schedule if you have any other tours this weekend. But I'm doing, because it's my son's birthday weekend. So off the air, I might talk to you about the cellar and bring him up and get him drunk. He's almost 24. I can do that. But no, he loves the bourbon, so it'd be fun to do a bourbon tasting there. But on Friday night, I am doing the walking ghost hunt. So come out and see us. It's a lot of fun, and we still have other tours on Friday and Saturday. And no, we have a private tour on Sunday. But
There's
or if you're
always tours up there. It's
There's
fun.
always. And if you have a company or a business or something and you want to rent out the bus for a private tour, we actually really work hard at creating like specialty tours. We just did one for a big company in Memphis where we went into the Masonic Temple and Ansdale Mansion and did investigations in both of those for a company. So you don't have to do a specific tour. We can create one for you. So,
Cool.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, I appreciate both of you being on.
Thanks for
And,
having us.
Jerry,
of
as
course, you've
always.
been on before, and they can
Yeah.
go back and watch that old episode. It should be somewhere where we talked about the investigation here.
Yeah, and I think at one point, I think Josh showed what we had, experience that we had here. So
Yeah.
that was pretty impactful. We'd love to come back and investigate again. see what
Well,
else we can
here
find.
anytime, just not
Yeah.
my house. Yeah. All right. Well, the folks from Historical Haunts, Historical Haunts Memphis, if you want to book with them, you see there. Thank you guys for watching and listening to us for a little bit. Don't forget to follow all the stuff we've got going on.
We've got NA the Band. They got Inside My Head. The album is out. It's available for free, so please download that. It really helps those guys out. It's completely free, so I don't know why you wouldn't. It's a good Samaritan thing. Plus, it's a good album. Michelle Allen, if you're buying, selling, renting, leasing real estate, she'd be glad to talk to you about that or anything. She's kind of like me. You can contact her in the community, and she'll give you direction. She's on the Chamber of Commerce board with me and stuff. She's a good local business owner. Mason's High Octane Martial Arts in Covington. We've been there since 1993. Be glad to teach your children confidence, integrity, or adults. We'll teach you how to kick people, choke them. It's a lot of fun. And then the Cellar, you might use your kicking and punching. At the Cellar Restaurant Prohibition Bar, it's located right here in Covington, open 7 days a week. Great bourbon, great steaks. Trivia night tonight starts back, so we'll see you there soon. Masonite Digital Marketing will help you with all your online branding, social media marketing, website design stuff, as well as drone footage. He's excited about using his drone. And then the Covington Comic-Con will return to Covington August 12th and 13th at the Covington Civic Center. You can visit Budget Batman, Creepy Panda Guy, and everybody else will be there. It'll be a lot of fun. And the Historical Haunts crew will be there too. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. I think next week is next week's live?
No, next week's
Still
live. We're having the Melee Yarbrough.
Oh, okay, cool. So next we'll talk about more death next week. It'll be great. So next week we'll be live, and we'll see you guys then. So keep kicking. Thanks for watching, guys. Just remember that this is not legal advice or investment advice or business advice. This is for fun and entertainment purposes only.